Hi, I'm Scott Ware, the publisher of Radiance magazine, which can be found at radiancem.com. And I'm interviewing today someone who's been in the magazine. I'm interviewing a shapeshifter named Charlene Maguire. Welcome, Charlene.
Thank you, Scott. Great to be here.
Absolutely. Glad you're here. And we're going to find out why you're a shapeshifter exactly. But I know you are an award-winning artist and a multidimensional creative, a shaman, and a transformational artist working through creative mediums as a catalyst for change. You've made a deck that is really cool. It's called the Heart Alchemy deck, right?
Mm-hmm. The language of heart alchemy.
The language of heart alchemy. Okay, and I'm just going to share right now. I think this is our site, or this is your site actually, where you are and where there's the article in the magazine.
Yep,
and
put it up on my Instagram.
Ah, okay. So welcome. And now I understand this deck. I mean, people have had oracle card readings, but you made this by hand. What is the difference there? What is the effect? I imagine it's magnified.
Yeah, it is magnified. It was pretty much 3 years of my life that it took to create it. And I was going through a lot of stuff then. So it actually helped me learn a lot about myself, heal some things. And I sort of figured that at the end, this was also going to help other people as well. I think at first it was just 3 heart paintings. But then since I'd always wanted to create some kind of, I think, a tarot deck, but then I said, all right, I think an oracle deck is going to come out of this. And then the paintings just hit me and hit me and hit me some more. So.
Okay. Well, I know what I know. I mean, I'm a writer myself, and these cards are not only beautifully painted, but the writing on them is so deep and profound and wise. And it's not just it's not just a little bit, right? There's a big chunk there of guidance for the person, whichever one they were guided to pull. You put a lot into the writing of them, right? I mean, they came from your work.
Yeah, the writing came after those. All the paintings pretty much came first, and then the writing just flowed with it afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, they're so beautiful. Tell me some of the experiences people have had when they have experienced a reading from this deck.
I always like to joke and say that the hearts know, they know, you can just ask them. And they're usually right on. They tell someone exactly what they need to know in that moment to assist with the energy they need to shift or where they want to go or an answer to a question. So you've probably seen people have great relief or confirmation on things. Yes, definitely. So, or just even to help for like a next step in a direction, which is what Oracle and Tarot cards are the best thing for. They're good to read your energy in the moment and help you make that next decision, take that next step. Yeah.
That's what it's all about, because people who aren't familiar with Oracle decks, I mean, it's not tarot where you kind of got to know the cards and what they mean. I mean, Oracle cards, everything is right there in the card when you pull it. And I mean, it's sort of like walking into a bookstore and pulling a book off any shelf, opening it to the line, and that line usually has something for you. The Oracle deck is similar, but of course it's geared for, well, your heart. And why did you go with the heart?
Well, the second heart that I did actually came from, I was involved in a love affair at this one time. And I've just realized that from a lot of those experiences that I've had in my life, it's just listening to your heart, whether it means to go dive in and have this experience or to not go there, or it's just, I mean, your heart speaks to you in a different way than anything or anyone else. It's your intuitive, the little whispers, I don't want to say the angel and devil on your shoulder, but I guess sometimes it could be that too. Do this, don't do that. Oh no, do this. So, and you have to learn how to listen to them and decipher them. So then it becomes a language, which is where the language part came in. So it's finding your own heart language.
So you went deep to create this deck. You went through, your experiences with relationships, pain, I imagine, and moving through that to heal.
Yeah.
And I know that a part of you, and follow you on Facebook and see you, you know, you go deep, you go out, you get inspiration, I think, from nature. I know you sing. You're sort of, I mean, are you like an elemental? Are you witch-like? I mean, you go away with, and you come back with all this mysticism and this, I mean, is that the shapeshifter part?
You know, it's funny. It's like I'm still trying to answer the whole shapeshifter question because I've had that domain name Shapeshifter Studios for a really long time. But it's true. I think when you work in, I hate to overuse the word shaman, but like shamanic kind of ways where you're shifting energy, and one does that as an artist or a musician, or I mean, you can affect large amounts of people that way.
Right.
And now I'm like going off and forgetting what your original question was.
So, shapeshifter, I mean, yeah, what does that
You know,
mean?
what does that mean exactly? Well, it means you can it kind of goes along with empathy, actually, because when you're with someone and they're telling you their experience, in order to empathize with that, you kind of have to be in their space that way. So, you know, wherever I was at one point in the day, I'm kind of shape-shifting into their experience to be with them in that moment, to give them a reading or play the sound bowls for them or something like that.
Well, people can go to your website and get sessions with you at shapeshifterstudios.com. They can book an oracle card reading from your own deck.
Yes.
You sell your deck and you do readings and healings in general.
And I've just lost your sound.
Oh.
I didn't hear that last bit that you said.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. That was weird. Unless it was my internet connection, but I don't know.
Oh, that's all right. Well, no, so you give sessions and healings as well. People can contact you for that. Okay.
Yeah,
so
like
that's
you
where
do a combination.
Okay. And that's where your gift and skills of holding space for someone comes into play.
Yes. And I think I've been doing that for a long time, but you know, sometimes we don't realize that till later in life.
Right. People who consider themselves empaths are very empathic and feeling, and then they get to a point in their life where they figure out boundaries, where to, you know, I don't need people's energy coming into me, and I can just do this, and I don't need mine going out. And they find they're very sensitive when they want to be. And so when you become a healer, you can easily get into someone's field and experience certain things, which helps you heal them, right?
Yes, that's been a long journey of learning boundaries and learning how to not keep taking people's energy in, but you'd be able to read it, but they stay there, I stay here.
Yes.
And you can read it a different way. Yeah, but that's been a learning process.
What does it mean to heal someone?
It means, well, it's like, I'm not actually the healer. I'm more of the facilitator of someone to help heal themselves. So, and a lot of people need that. Even I've needed that in my own journey, you know, with healers that I've worked with. If they help you bring up the stuff that you need to look at and then shift that energy.
So what does it mean to come away healed?
What does it mean to come away healed? It means that you've kind of moved into a different frequency and you've dropped off some baggage and you've kind of elevated yourself a bit to not let the past stuff affect you so much. I guess that's how I see it. That's
no small thing.
Yeah, I know. And that doesn't mean there isn't more stuff that will come up, but it's like, it kind of works in layers, you know?
Sure.
You shift one layer, you're like, oh, good. And you're like, oh, wait, there's another layer. Gotta go do that. Yeah.
Because that's, people go their whole lives without healing a thing or very little. And they have all that same baggage and they were running their life not as free as they could be or as authentic as who they are because they didn't let that stuff from childhood go.
Yeah, well, for some people it can be really hard to look at it. So even getting a card reading, you know, a lot of people can be really like, I don't want to do cards.
I know.
They see the whole old fortune telling thing, which is not what it is. But yeah, because even doing a card reading, because immediately it's going to bring something up. And some people don't want to look at that, so it can be a little difficult.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story. I take trips sometimes down to a very well-known spiritual publishing company that happens to be in Southern California. And sometimes I bring friends. I've brought psychic friends who, when we get there, they're very nice. And then I say, well, would you like a reading? And some of the people who've gotten readings before, like, they're ready. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember there were these 3 friends who worked in the back cubicles back when people were in their cubicles. And I don't know if they're coming back, but and there were three of them. One was gung-ho, wanted it, went in a room with one of the psychics, the intuitive readers that came with me. And the second one was, I'm not sure. And people were trying to nudge and push her. And I said, no, you don't want to do that. It's just, you got to want to do it. The third one was absolutely not. No way, no how, no thanks. Polite, but still firm.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
The second one ultimately did get a reading, and I think she was floored, and she was, but still a little off center, because that's just her, how she was approaching it. The first one was so glad, crying, tears of joy. And so, yeah, that for me was the gamut of people when it comes to getting readings. And intuition, I mean, we've all got it, right? It's something we can all do.
Yeah, for sure. So, and that's part of what I want to teach with this deck. I don't have a course up yet, but I'm working on one to teach you how to use these cards and do readings for yourself. Because ultimately, like I said, the healer is you. I'm just, the cards or myself or any form of healer or healing agent is really just helping to facilitate you to heal yourself or heal the things in yourself that you want to heal.
Yeah, and I imagine, I don't remember, I haven't seen the deck in a little while, but it can help with queries that, or inquiries that go into ourselves that can help us work things out. It's not that they're just going to tell us, hey, this isn't working in your life, get rid of it.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Okay. Yeah, so I imagine it's more starts inquiries that can help you with your issues, right?
Yeah, so that's why it's good to also come up with you have to ask I don't want to say the right questions, but it's not yes or no answers like, am I gonna have this relationship or am I gonna break up with this person? It's not gonna give you a yes or no answer. It's gonna give you something that'll help you make decisions to facilitate yourself to move forward. And it's not, but you're gonna have to figure it out. So.
It is. One of the most powerful questions I've heard that you could ask of a reading is, what am I hiding from myself? What am I blind spots?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. What am I not seeing?
Yeah. So you also do sound healing. Tell me about that.
I do. Well, I've just kind of recently gotten into this, but I've wanted a set of sound bowls for a really long time. So I finally got a set. I'm also a singer. I've been singing for a really long time.
Yeah.
So I'm working on combining those two. But for me too, it's been a journey of sort of healing my voice because I've never been all that confident singing in front of people. I've done it, but it comes on and off and stage fright and all that stuff. So I have my own stuff there. But I've had some friends who have been nudging me and pushing me lately, which is good.
Well, you have a beautiful voice, and I know that you've taken steps in your confidence because you put it out on Facebook. You put your singing on Facebook posts. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a big step.
Good for you. So it sounds like you are, because I know you're a very powerful person, you're a very creative person, and it sounds like you're sort of a champion for people in finding their voice. Is that right?
It seems to be becoming that, yeah. A champion and people helping to help their self-esteem and find their voice, their speaking voice, maybe their singing voice too, or just simply to speak up. Sometimes that can be the hardest thing for anything, especially women. We've had that repressed for a really long time, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to speak more about that?
I suppose as the conversation goes on, I will. Yes. I don't have a whole lot to say about that particularly right now, though.
Sure, sure. So what do you believe you were brought here to do?
That's a really good question. And I think the answer keeps changing as I keep shifting.
Sure.
And up-leveling. So, but I think I am, one of the other things I also have, a tool I've used for a long time is astrology. And I only bring that up because I'm age 50. And around age 50, you have this thing called your Chiron return. And Chiron represents sort of where your deepest, I don't want to say it is a wound, but it's more like a knot, like something that you need to unravel in your life. Sure. And I'm watching this play out in my own life over the past year, where I've needed to unravel and see where it is I'm going. And I'm realizing that I have a path as a healer here, so I'm finding my own steps to get there.
Yeah, it seems like you're bringing the proper humility to it too, and just saying, you know, I don't know, but I'm open to whatever the universe is
Yeah,
suggesting. Yeah.
yeah.
When you get together with groups of people, I know in the Southern California healing community, um, I find you to be very supportive and of others, and even holding space of them. That seems like something that comes to you pretty naturally.
Yes, it is. Being the empathic person that I am, it is very easy. But I've also had to learn to find and hold space for myself. That's been the hard part, because when you don't have people that really do that for you and you have a hard time asking for that, then you've also got to do it for yourself.
Is that really necessary, all that self-love stuff?
Yes, it is. Hence the card deck called The Language of Heart Alchemy.
Hmm.
So,
Oh, so now we're looping back to that. It sounds like that deck is helpful in people's journey of self-love. Is that right?
yes, very much.
How
And
so?
I've actually, back to the group things that you
Oh,
were
yeah.
mentioning, I've done a few of those where I've brought my cards, and usually there's a meditation or something else that happens, and I'll put the cards around while that's going on, and then have everybody pull a card afterwards. And
Sure.
even just that one card reading, I've had people just be like, oh wow, I really needed to hear that right now.
Yep.
So yeah.
Okay. So how big is self-love? How big does that play into this deck?
I think it might be the main message of the deck.
Yeah.
Self-love, self-acceptance, speaking up, and listening, all of that, because you have to listen before you can speak up. Otherwise you say dumb stuff, right?
It's kind of hard for some people to listen to themselves, right? I mean, how can they do
Hmm.
that better?
It has to do with listening to a lot of what your body tells you, because, you know, if your stomach's upset, it's trying to tell you something. If your lower back hurts, it's trying to tell you something.
Hmm.
So you need to listen to your body signals. You need to listen to the, even not just oracle cards, but sort of like your everyday oracles, like, you know, when you see the 333 or the 444, that kind of stuff that'll pop up just at the right time.
Yeah.
Or you meet that particular person at just that right time. Maybe you never see them again, but they had this message for you that you can't forget about, so you know it's important. All kinds of stuff like that. I call them like everyday oracles.
Very good. I had someone ask me recently. I'd recently gotten into the Beatles. Like, I know, here we are, 2020. I just have. I don't know why it's, you know, they were before my time, but
Happens. Yeah.
it happens. Anyway, and I was asked, so what is it about the Beatles that strikes you so? Or what are a couple things that you find really fascinating about them? And I said, well, they changed the world by being themselves. And she told me that's their message for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good one. So that was, like you
Yes.
say, one of those daily synchronicities, although with a little help from someone, a little guiding question. But that's what your cards are very good at doing, right? I mean, in fact, you have one or two you could read as an example?
I do. I have the one that I pulled today. This one actually isn't in the original deck, but this is what I pulled today. Taurus.
Taurus. Okay. Now, I'm not a Taurus,
Uh,
but this is going to pertain to me, to anyone, right?
It could, yeah.
Okay.
So the question for this card, because it'll speak to Taurus energy, which is earth, grounding, resources. So the question is, where do I need to listen to my body? And I was just talking about the body. There we go. The message is Taurus earth energy has deep roots. You are in a physical body on a physical planet. This energy moves slowly, sometimes stubbornly, and is simple, clean, and elegant. Taurus gathers its resources and will only be moved when it wants to be moved. Slow down and remember to smell the roses, taste every bite of a delicious meal, and lounge on that velvet couch. Your physical and intuitive senses are a steady, solid source of pleasure, intelligence, and enjoyment in this life. Listen to them.
Wow.
So,
Is a velvet couch included with every deck?
I wish, you know, if I could
Right?
offer that, it'd be great.
That was awesome. Now, could you please pull a card for the planet Earth?
I will. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to shuffle them up.
Yep.
It's the language of art alchemy.
All right.
Let's see. what the message is for the collective.
For the collective. And did you make that artwork behind you as well?
I did. It's actually
Beautiful.
a pretty old painting, but I still like it. Oh, all right. So we're gonna get let go. I think it's time to let go. And considering we're doing this interview on a full moon in Aries, actually,
No?
it's time to let go of some stuff and renew yourself, which is what Aries is all about. So here we go. Let go. The question is, what habits, thoughts, feelings, physical things, ideas, etc., can you let go of to make space for the new?
Oh.
The message is frustration sets in because you require new stimulus and information. There are things that are no longer working for you. You need personal growth, and whatever situation you are in is stale and stagnating. Time to clean out the closets, both the literal ones and the emotional ones. Perfect.
Perfect. And well written. Good job.
Thank you.
Very good.
I know you were one of the first recipients of the deck when it came out. So.
Oh, and I did deliver one to that publisher too.
Yes, you did.
They have it there, so that's good.
That's cool.
Okay, so what's all this talk about unity consciousness? What do you think about that?
What do I think about unity consciousness?
Are we can we access it? Can we get there and have that 5D universal love? And is this a true new age? Because like we always used to say new age. Well, this really is a new age. I think we should bring that phrase back. Do you think we're ready for it, or what do you see?
I think what we're going through this year is going to help us, is preparing us for that. I mean, some of us have been doing a lot of work, and some people that have been kind of staying in their illusions might be getting hit a little bit harder, but I think we're on our way.
Yeah, so it's either by force or flow, people say. You're going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much easier to...
It's much easier to choose to step into it. Take a look at yourself and what you need to change, shift, or let go.
Let go. What are some steps and tips of how people can do that? Because it's outside of our norm. We're not taught it in society. What kind of things do you recommend for like a daily practice?
Well, for myself, I can only speak for what I've used.
Sure.
I've been doing yoga and meditation for a very long time. I'm also a teacher, although I'm not actually teaching right now, but I've been through a couple teacher trainings that were amazing, mainly because I think for that, when I first started to do it, it was pretty intense in showing me how emotion is stuck in the body.
Ah.
So through movement and breath, that was probably my first modality of being able to release some old emotional stuff that I didn't realize it at first, but I learned. Then I got more into energy work, like literal moving energy work through Reiki and some other modalities that I won't name them here because it's just names, but most people understand Reiki.
Well, that's a good reason for people to contact you for a healing session, because you have a handful of modalities you can choose from, whatever is best suited for that person.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you can do them remotely, a lot of them, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much all of them, even if it's art. I mean, I can do art sessions too. So, because that is a way to move energy right there, just through drawing, painting.
You remind me of the kind of artist that I've heard, Enya, you've heard of that musician, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. She, to create those amazing works of music, she would go away into the forest alone and come out much later. And that's why she was able even to create things, songs that had a language that she made up even, that was featured in the Lord of the Rings movies. And you remind me, like you have that earthen quality, elemental quality, fairy energy. Am I right?
Everyone picks up on that. It's pretty funny. It's like, you're a little Irish fairy, aren't you? And I have actually spent a lot of time alone, not lonely, but like alone. And that is the best way to just go in. I go into another world when I decide to do a drawing or painting. So
what would you tell people who find it hard to be alone or to be with themselves or have conversation with themselves? What tips would you give them for that, for leading to self-love?
That's a good question, because I know a lot of people that have trouble with that. I would say you have to find something that you enjoy doing, whether that's art, music, a sport.
Yep.
And focus on it. Like, but and it would need to be something like just like an activity that you can do alone that you enjoy doing. And then it's sort of like Julia Cameron describes in the artist way. It's like you have an artist date. Give yourself a date alone with yourself to do the thing you like to do. And maybe that's just staring at the clouds. I mean, it could be that too. But yeah, find something you enjoy doing alone and go in there.
I've found that, and Eckhart Tolle talks about this, just looking at one thing and realizing that's all you need to be doing. And just too many of us, and myself, I don't give myself that time often enough until I give myself permission to just look at this tree, or even touch the tree, hug it, or just look at the grass, look at the plant, and just behold it. That is okay. You don't need to be doing anything else for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's part of the process of creating stuff too, is that you need that time to just stare out the window and daydream. And, we're all used to flipping on our phones now, where our brains never get a break until you give yourself permission to take that break.
Exactly. So to that end, do you do things you find necessary to ground yourself? And if so, how do you do that? Why is that important?
It is very important, because otherwise you can kind of be floating outside of your body. So you want to get back into your body, which usually involves a movement. You want to move your body, physical exercise. I don't like to say exercise because people don't like that word. So I usually call it movement.
Yeah.
Go take a walk, go hug the tree, take your shoes off and walk in the grass or lie in the grass. Things like that for grounding.
It's so worth it. In fact,
breath.
I've committed to doing more of those things throughout the day, just because it keeps you in that state. Doing it even just once, or even a quick meditation in the morning, sometimes isn't enough to last you all day. You need to take little breaks here and there.
Oh, you definitely do. Yeah. I think, and even as humans, we're not meant to sit in front of a computer screen all day, even though a lot of us do that or have done that in the past in a cubicle,
Yes, this doesn't count. Yes.
No, this doesn't count at all.
So getting back to the world situation, is this sort of a boot camp, you said? This is sort of a preparation for, what are we preparing for?
I think we are preparing for a better way of doing things.
Yeah.
That's sort of my take on it. But sometimes you always have to go through some form of chaos before things are going to change.
Right.
Either in a small form or a big form.
Been interesting, and it's definitely things being different, and to be different, some things have to go away, and accepting that the normal's not coming back. What we remember as normal, it's just going to be new, and I think that's great, because that means we can create.
Yes, I agree. But I'm also someone that loves change. I will dive into new stuff, and some people have trouble with that.
Sure.
So maybe I take the big steps. Some people need to take a lot of little baby steps.
So you can't call yourself a shapeshifter if you have a problem with change.
That's true. Quite true. Shapeshifter catalyst.
Well, and people should go to your, if they want to know more about you, go to shapeshifterstudios.com.
Mm-hmm.
Follow you on Facebook, Charlene Maguire. Okay. And what would you like to leave people with, as far as like who should be seeking you out?
People who want to shift things in their life. Who should be seeking me out? Could be a lot of different kinds of people. People who want to be pushed, maybe, would be a good way to say it. Because I'm not gonna do. I hold space, and I'm very empathetic, but I will push you. I will be like, you should go do this. You should go do that, and you should allow yourself to do this and do that. So if you really want to change or shift something in your life, then I would be a good person to hang out with or get a session from.
Very wise person and talented. And if they want to order a deck of your cards, they can go to shapeshifterstudios.com.
Yes,
okay.
They can.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this interview, Charlene. This was wonderful.
This is great. Thank you for having me on to do the interview. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And this is Charlene Maguire. I'm Scott Ware with Radiance Magazine, and thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you.